Okay, we'll call the work session at 6:00 PM to order with all board members present and Jim Minton present and Amy Schmidt and Brett Benson present in the room. So with that, we'll go to the first item on the agenda for the work session, and that would be working on our school board goals. What we have up here on the screen is each of the four strategic areas, and everyone did their prep work of coming up with a goal. We'll first go through achievement and opportunity, and Amy will type in the goal. And so we'll do one area at a time, and then we'll come to agreement on what our final goal should be. So is someone ready to start with their goal?
I can do it. For the achievement and opportunity, I just get a list of businesses and contacts to come into school, either to present or to help the teachers out with certain subjects that they are knowledgeable about, or a list of businesses looking for school age workers to come in and work at their businesses.
Okay.
I can go next. I thought that maybe we could on our website put list classes that we offer, like we offer 26 career technical education classes or courses offered, in however many, that's just a number. Like what we offered as an opportunity and to put it out there. And then also I thought that maybe we could, as a board, really help spread the social media positivity with all of, the likes and the shares and everything that we're doing well with Rob Vanderhagen and the sports and the One Act, because that's how the word gets spread. So I was like, maybe we can do that.
Can I expand on your first one? Not only classes, but extracurricular activities?
Sure, absolutely.
I didn't really come prepared because I missed an email or something, so I didn't come prepared, but I would love to get input. So far everything is great, but I didn't come with all this.
Okay. Sandy, do you want to do next?
I've got just, actually, if we could check with the tech school in Wilmer and see what kind of classes we could get here to benefit them going on further, or even talk to the college in Wilmer. Something like that, where we could get connections from them to maybe, we could even get them to come down here.
I have two. Mine are quite lengthy, but I think they touch on some of the things that you guys brought up.
Can I have one of yours?
Okay, sounds good. The first one I put down to strive to be and achieve, to be one of the top 5 schools in academic achievement in the state of Minnesota and or nationally.
How do we measure that?
I don't know, but I doubt if we could strive.
Okay.
I'm gonna find out the name of the school in northern Minnesota. They set their goals high to be up in that bracket and they've achieved it. So I thought if I can find out the name of the school and talk to the superintendent and or school board members and find out how they did that, it'd be interesting.
Teresa, could you repeat that goal one more time, please?
Okay, I know it's quite wordy.
That's okay.
And I can just do in words too. So it's strive to be and achieve to be in the top 5 schools in academic achievement, that was in parentheses, in the state of Minnesota and or nationally. I think we set our goals extra high. And not that we're not doing that, but really set them high and try to aim for that, especially where the kids are right now. So then, my other one is to seek diligently opportunities in tech classes to engage in on-hands career opportunities to spark a heightened craving for learning and life skills for our students. So that was wordy too. Things that came to my mind, just oh, how about that too? I'll just keep reading.
Can you read that one again too? I just want to make sure I have it right.
I don't have any, it just rambles. To seek diligently opportunities in tech classes, and I had et cetera on that too, to engage in hands-on, career opportunities, and then to spark a heightened craving for learning, period, and then life skills for our students. So however you want to make that into a paragraph.
Todd, anything come to mind?
Well, one thing I was thinking about, wasn't today, but maybe if there's a way of talking to some of the families that are homeschooling their kids and find out maybe possibly what the reason is, and we could get them geared to bring them back to the whole district.
Could we add to that one too? I think that's a good one too. How about, could we visit with the parents other than the reason for, moving away for job or whatever, but just for them taking their students out to find out what the reasoning is, so we can learn, we can better ourselves, and we can find out why people are deciding to leave.
How would we do? Is that,
I think right now, we don't worry about the how would we do it. Let's maybe get your goals up there and then we can
sure.
go through.
And then what I had put down was, be available as board members to discuss with parents and the community where opportunity is available.
You say that again, Todd?
Be available as at events to discuss with parents and the community where opportunity is needed. And I was thinking like if each board member could be at 2 events or something to chat with community members and parents. Like I was thinking parent-teacher conferences, maybe you set up a table as they come into the room, into the building and that's,
Really like that, I like that.
I've never heard of anyone doing that.
When they did.
Like a dunk tank style or what?
You get a lot of people maybe to come in and oh, it might get
Yeah, exactly.
So then it's just, is there any that you see we could combine together?
I think maybe like, this help spread the positivity could be paired with yours of being available to community.
Yep.
It's true.
The as a board help spread the positivity
And
could probably be combined with the last one that Todd said.
opportunities needed and spread positivity too. Yep.
Yes, because I think that's a really good idea, if they know that we have a listening ear, but the listening ear is to help them stay here and make things better, you know what I mean, just not to focus on the negative.
And I see that as a truly a board goal. And all of these are really good.
Yeah, they are.
I'm gonna use your first one as an example though. That's definitely not just a board goal. That's the whole district wide. And if we're looking for something that we can do around this table together, I don't know if that's.
I think we're looking for things that we can do as a board, but also that we put in place that goes with administration and staff to help the students. Yeah, I see that also as part of this.
Okay.
We gotta make sure when we do like the technical stuff and all the tech things, because it's almost like a flip flop of where it was at. It used to be tech and then classes, and then they said, don't take tech anymore. You gotta just take classes so you go to 4-year college. And so then that tech stuff kind of got pushed off to the side, and everybody was trying to take Spanish and all the stuff. They had to go to 4-year, and now they're back to saying, tech is important, and I agree with that. We can't forget the other ones. It goes the complete opposite now and say, everybody do tech. But we don't talk about any of the other stuff. The main emphasis nowadays, all I'm saying is that to get to the technical side. But we gotta make sure we don't leave the other side behind either.
I know, and that's why I mentioned in academic achievement too, because it has to be their academics also, and that can be.
They're
in a
both
nice-
academics.
Yeah, but that could be a nice complement. They can learn life skills to
Mhm.
achieve a career and be really good in their basics too. I think they complement each other really well.
So maybe a goal of supporting current endeavors of the school made me think of two things that Brett's working on. One, he's gonna talk about the engagement piece that they've been working on as a staff. And if we can get behind that as a board and champion that, I think it'd be fantastic for kids. The other thing he's gonna be doing is he's gonna be going up to BBE here on a couple Mondays, 2 Mondays from now.
Yeah, the 13th.
And they've got some really interesting things that they do with their school, where they've actually they've taken some of the local graduation requirements away, and they are making room for kids to be able to take the classes that they want. And if you are a kid that wants to be a writer, and lose my voice. If you're a kid that wants to be a writer and your creative writing class is up against math, well, they're finding ways to get that kid the math credit elsewhere in a different way, and making sure that he's in that writing class that he needs. Or, you know, if a kid wants to be a carpenter, maybe they don't need to be sitting in, maybe it's more important that they're sitting in that carpentry class and finding another way to get other credits.
Should we also add in here too, I'm not sure how to word it, but that we could help in that aspect, the kids that are also gifted in certain areas achieve their giftedness to be able to go over and above when, instead of keeping them at that grade level or whatever, but if they excel in that, and maybe we're doing that already, but maybe there's a way we can even push that more.
The gifted, it's always toughest for the gifted, it always gets overlooked. So doing something that can add to that would be a great idea.
That Detroit Lake School, you know, the thing that they did at the school board, they presented with, and then they'll have I think like an open house thing where you can go there sometime this fall. But they have like 4 or 5 different, like, you have a business pathway, you have a medical pathway, you have a hands-on, whether it be engines or whatever it might be, pathway. And then each semester from, I think it starts in like 9th grade on, you take 2 courses in that pathway as you go through high school, along with your other stuff. So you get a focus of what you think your strength is or what you want to do. And you can change at any time. You could switch it if you decide this isn't for me. But that'd be something to look into and just see what that program is,
I like
and
that.
how that works out.
Yeah.
But they're doing it already, so it's not like we gotta reinvent the wheel.
And that's like their.
So hopefully we can go up there and check it out.
Yeah. Gets them excited for learning too, if it's something that they.
Well, I don't know.
I mean, we can, I was thinking narrow down to 1 or 2, but I can see leaving all these on if you would agree to want to do that.
As long as we're not getting down on ourselves for,
Which ones do you think?
We got 2 platforms here, maybe could be combined.
Oh, yes. The third bullet point with the
Check the technical
with
colleges.
the 5th, yeah,
Okay.
that could be one goal.
while she's typing, I really like that idea of getting you guys to maybe have a little spot.
Mhm.
And it doesn't have to be to every event, but maybe have a couple of you standing by the gate before a football game. You know, just say, hey, board members, whoever, you can make little banners or something to put out there. So,
What am I playing?
yeah. Big hats, whatever you want to do, smocks. But,
Like a comment box too, if they didn't feel like they could address it with us, they could leave it with us, or.
Yep, that would be a good idea to do that. So some people want to give feedback anonymously, they don't want to. Although the anonymous feedback tends not to be as impactful as hearing it. But you do need to listen to it. Because if someone's willing to tell you to your face, then, or sign their name to it, then it gives more credibility to the statement versus anonymous.
absolutely.
Yeah.
And you can follow up and ask questions
Yep.
and see if it got fixed.
So we ready to go on to the second? Are we good with this first one? I see nodding, yes. Okay, we'll go on to number 2. What's the recruitment and retention?
I would like to try something different, and I don't know if it's ever been done, I don't think it ever has, but have the school board have a like work session with the staff members. And have a question and answer, like, what are you looking for? What are we missing here? What do you, give us some feedback, because those are the people that we're trying to keep. What aren't you getting?
That's what I wrote, just listen to
Yeah.
the teachers, not tell them what to do, but
Right.
listen to the teachers.
But just have a
We got a pretty veteran
back
staff.
and forth conversation with them and saying, hey,
So that would be your meet and confers, and that was one of the things I wrote down, was to have 2 meet and confer sessions with each group in the school.
Yeah, it wouldn't just be the teachers, have the paras, have
With
Yeah,
paras,
absolutely.
with the custodians, with.
Otherwise, you just hear that negotiations is about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and then they feel more like you really are interested in what we have to say. If you just go, okay, negotiations,
Exactly.
well, how much money you want,
I
whatever,
know,
here we
yeah,
are.
let's look at your language.
It's not as personable as you go, what are we missing? What do you need? What are you not getting from us?
Well, and I
They
think,
feel important.
and I think job recognition oftentimes is more important than, or as important as salary.
That's the other thing, we don't have a staff recognition program in place. We don't recognize years of service. We need to do that.
We do work years of service. I used to make something every year for the 5, 10, 15, 20.
But it's just given to them as the public know of it.
No, and it's not, but it was always at the end of the year. Once COVID came around, it sort of got set aside. But somebody asked me about it just about 2 weeks ago. And
Or do you make them like a card or something?
so we,
Get
no, actually,
I just,
I used a laser engraver once and made nice wooden plaques for them. A couple of times. I did another one where I engraved on a clear acrylic, and that was I mounted that with brass screws on top of a black plaque.
It would be really cool is if you'd have that delivered with the robotics and making it come to the.
We could
classroom.
drive it.
I have something for you.
The last thing I did was, and our printer's broken now, but I'm looking at ways to, with ESSER funds, we can replace this thing. It's called sublimation. With sublimation, you take like a photograph, you print it on a special paper, and you use a heat transfer process. And I was making mugs for people, and you can put a photograph on a mug, and it looks great. It's not like a silk screen. But that was the last thing we did, and somebody was asking me, I'm looking forward to my mug, so that's how I found out our printer isn't working. So I need to do that.
that's cool.
Is there anything listed on our website as far as years of service? That be somewhere you can put information to?
Yep, and then, like if staff members doing something in a room with their group of students, could we do something to highlight and acknowledge maybe something that they're doing with the students that is pretty unique and awesome, that at the same time, we're building relations with the community, that we're acknowledging the awesomeness of our staff and what they do.
Could we have a staff member of the month?
That would be another possibility,
You know.
or of the week.
Yeah. We have to figure out how or what, but I think, and then, if we notice somebody that stands out or somebody that's done a little over and above, something extra, bring it to the board or whatever and, or I don't know, something,
Kind of like the cooks when we did that for, the football game. They had a special lunch, wasn't there, or special food for the, what do you call the big game at the end of the year?
Homecoming game.
No, the Super Bowl.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Super Bowl.
You sound like me now, talking about the game, the super game.
Yep, so they did that for the lunch. But yeah,
Yeah, I think that's kind of fun.
Yeah.
yeah,
yeah, that stuff needs to be,
take a picture of it, put it out on the web or on the Facebook page.
which goes to what Ally discussed earlier on promoting the positivity in the
Yes.
school.
Yeah, one of my ideas was list some of those stats right on our website on the front page, like whatever the stat would be. I saw one on one of the district websites that I looked at, 70% of the teachers have 3+ years of experience in teaching. Another one that they had was they have a 12-to-1 student to licensed teacher or licensed educator ratio. How can we promote like we have this, in a bright forward way, whatever our stats are. I didn't know, but I was like, that'd be great for retaining and supporting our staff.
Any others that,
The other recruitment part is gonna just be our facilities, we gotta get them fixed, so we gotta do whatever we can to promote this, our upcoming referendum, whatever that the community decides that is the one for them, we gotta back it and say, this is what we gotta do. We can hand out all the plaques we want, but if our building falls apart, it doesn't matter.
Is that right? Is that what you said? Is that what you said, back with data? Sorry, Brian.
What's that?
What did you say? I didn't catch all what you said.
Oh, I just said we gotta back whatever our referendum, whatever the people wanna do, that's what we gotta promote it, we gotta make it happen.
The only other thing I had written down was making sure that we're doing evaluations in a timely, proper manner, including exit interviews. I don't know.
I put that down too, and do we do them annually or don't we even do them?
We're starting it this year as part of the strategic plan.
When they do an exit interview, where does that go? Who gets that? And
Well, we haven't done one yet, so, Amy, do you have any experience with conducting exit interviews?
Nope, but I'm sure I could find lots of information on how to do one.
Looks
Yeah,
like
it's
we'll have
not-
some opportunities.
it's pretty simple, straightforward.
Just a-
They're not.
But typically, I like to ask questions like, what was good, what would you change?
Yep.
Leave it fairly
Yeah.
open-ended.
It doesn't have to be a whole 4 pages or anything, just like
Right.
a couple simple questions and say, what could we have done better? What could we have changed that would have made you stay?
Yeah, Margaret's done that with food service staff, and we're gonna, that's part of this too, is annually, we're gonna be asking for that information.
And she said, I think something about performance reviews too there.
Yep.
Conduct exit interviews and performance review.
then to the board, it would be sharing
Yeah.
what the trends are, I would say.
Yeah.
You can't share specifics.
No,
Because
okay.
that defeats the whole purpose of
Mhm.
getting candid feedback in an exit interview. But to start to share trends helps.
Absolutely. evaluations can't be shared, but
The trends can.
Yeah.
Anything else that's come to mind for anyone in the brainstorming and discussion? Is there something we could combine together?
a question that came to my mind is, would we be willing to support a stipend for a couple people? It could be anyone, it could be a cook, a custodian, it doesn't have to be a teacher. But to be that person that is going out there, and if you're gonna do like we'll say a weekly employee of the month, employee of the week, you've got it, that's a lot, it's a lot of work.
Yeah.
It doesn't sound like it, but it is a lot of work. And it might be nice to find someone that would be that go-to, this is your job.
I think if we're gonna back up our actions, we need to very much consider doing that, if that's what's gonna help us meet that goal and do it. I mean, we have wonderful staff, but if we don't learn from them and help them, then we're not doing our job as a board.
The hard part, if you put a staff member on it, then it might not work the way you want it to either, because one staff member is going to go over and say, hey, you're not doing your job, or, hey, you're doing really good, and somebody over here might say, well, you like them better than you like me, so you're looking, so you might want a neutral party on that, just because a staff member sometimes,
I don't like you, so I'm not going
Yes.
to.
yes.
Yeah, we have to put some
Yes,
thought into how to
a little
implement
thought
all
into
this.
that one
Yeah.
before we put a
Yeah.
stipend out for a staff member, because I don't think that would work for us very well.
Okay. We ready to move on to facilities and maintenance? Okay. Who wants to start?
I will. I put two things, continue supporting and maintaining what we have until we can get the bond passed, number one, and then fully support the bond. Whatever that looks like. I think that's, those are my, that's what we have to do. The end.
I think just like you're recognizing your teachers and stuff, we gotta make sure the people who are keeping this place running get thanked, because they're working their butts off.
Mhm.
Just trying to keep the place running. They're not even in a position to do a whole bunch of cleanup and do a whole bunch of modifications and make things better, because they're just trying to get through the day.
Emily, could
They're
you
the ones
repeat your
that need-
second one?
Fully support the bond.
Well, before, when we had a school here and a school in Bird Island, we had, how many janitors over here?
I don't,
Because everything came over there, everybody that was over there came over here, so then it almost like doubled janitors.
no, but
No, we actually let one go, for sure.
So how many do we fully have right now?
We're down 2 right now. So
But how many do we
have 4.
totally have janitors?
4.
4. And then Denny.
Correct.
So he's not one of the 4?
No.
Okay, and they're all full-time?
Correct.
Well, I think what would help to find, well, right now and going forward to have it, if we would require a facility and grounds management plan that would be brought to us and updates monthly. Because if we can see, if they can say, this is what we've done, have like a checkoff thing, we've done all this. And if we can see what they've, in every month, and give us updates of what has to be done, we can kind of see where things are going. So if there's a problem, maybe we can nip that in the bud early. And this would be good for, even for an updated facility, just to stay on task and just to see that what kind of management plans Danny has in place for all his employees and if they've been accomplished, and that think it'd be good to have eyes on that.
It'd be nice to have perhaps a monthly update of what are the issues, you know, and, what we're working on.
I had an off the wall idea, and I don't know if it'll work, but I was just at the roller skate rink on Friday night, and of course I used the restroom, the women's restroom. Every time I go over in there, that black wall has no tiles on it, it's just open, and it drives me crazy. And I almost thought, I'm gonna bring my own squares in and put them in there and attach them in there because it's open. But if we could put out there and say, hey, Saturday, March, whatever, we're having a get together at the school. We would like everybody to bring your tools and whatever. We have a few maintenance things we'd like some help on, just to help update things, clean some things up, just for at least until we can get things going. Who would be available that could help? I would be right there, and I'd be standing right there, and I'd help, because that stuff, I don't like that. We have people coming in here for games and things, and they go to use a bathroom, there's holes in the wall. I mean, I realize things are falling apart, those things, that's been there for almost 3 years, as far as I mean, at least 3 years. We gotta fix those tiles in the wall, something, clean it up in there, it's terrible.
Where are we talking
In
about?
the girls' bathroom down at the big gym.
Okay, I thought we were talking about a roller skating rink, so
No, I said I was roller skating, at the roller skating party on Friday. We were at the roller skating party on Friday night. They had the YMCA roller skating
I
party
didn't-
Friday night.
yeah.
Yes, at the big gym. And then I went in there and I was like, oh my gosh, that hole in the wall's still here. But I mean, I realize that we're going for referendum, but we also have to keep those things up. And I know at least 3 years ago, I asked Denny if he could at least go in there and just fix it, put something on that wall so there's not a hole in there. And nothing's still been done. And those kinds of things, even though things are bad, let's just not let them fall apart even more.
I think that's a good point, because I think that shows the community that you're willing to maintain. You probably can't find the exact tile to match, but at least you can
Put something.
fill the hole in the wall like you would at home, patch the thing till you're gonna move to your different house, you know what I mean?
Right.
Just patch it,
Clean it
'cause
up.
Clean it
you're
up.
living in it, you don't wanna live with everything falling apart, so it's like,
Right.
That would combine Teresa's and Franny's where, you know, if Danny would give us a list each month saying this is priority, this needs to be done, you could reach out to your service groups.
Absolutely.
And have them say, this is what we want
Sure.
done.
You have any
Can you
test
help us?
students looking for their hours for community
Yeah.
service and
Yeah.
so forth?
Yeah.
Yep. We have other clubs and
You do hear that from organizations, well, why should we vote for a referendum? We can't keep maintaining the
Yeah.
school that we have now. So
It just looks bad on our part. You're right.
the maintenance and janitorial staff, they're doing the snow removal right now, correct? Maybe we need to consider contracting out our snow removal to free them up so that we can get some more of this maintenance.
Yeah, and we actually just did that. We did hire somebody
somebody might
else.
be willing to help do that too.
Absolutely.
same with like summer lawn mowing too, and maybe that's contracted out, maybe not, but that'd be another thing that the janitors, you're not wasting time on that, they can focus on our buildings.
Yeah.
And even going forward,
It's frustrating to me when I see, you know, Denny out mowing, because we're paying a lot for Denny.
Yeah, he shouldn't be mowing, he's,
But I've mowed here before. I spent a Sunday once, a couple of years ago, mowing.
but if there's service hours, like Todd was saying too, boy, that'd be great. That would be awesome.
But we have a lot of really good community members that have stepped up to the plate for a lot of things around here. If you just put it out there, I think they'd be willing to come in on a Saturday and we could whip out a lot of things and clean up some things and make it at least look presentable to the public when they come in. We don't have to make it look like everything's falling apart. Okay, we need a referendum now because everything's falling apart because we haven't fixed that hole and that hole. Yeah, it sure does look bad, you know? It's gonna look bad. We don't want it to look that bad. I mean, yeah, you want the referendum, but you want them to think, we are trying to take care of it because like Todd said, you're not gonna get the people to vote for it if we're not gonna take care of what we have.
and I was thinking along with this, I don't know what the full list of everything that's on our deferred maintenance right now. It would be nice to have that, so we as a board can prioritize how we're addressing that. And maybe we can start to hit some of those things that, you know, that can be done, that we wouldn't be throwing money down a rabbit hole if we know it's gonna potentially be part of a bond referendum, but to where we can make some hay where it's gonna have an impact. Okay. Is what we talked about captured under facilities and maintenance at this point? So the first one is continue supporting and maintaining what we have until we can get a bond, support the bond. And the third is bring a plan to the board to check on each month so the board can stay on top of tasks that need to be completed. Put for maintenance.
Should we have, one last bullet point to review, like what you were just asking for, the strategic plan, or not strategic, what did you just say? Deferred maintenance. Review that, quarterly.
Yep.
Even going forward to whatever gets done with the buildings or whatever happens with the referendum, wherever we go, the community wants us to go. That's, I think we have to think just not in our present circumstances, but going forward, trying to touch on things, because these are goals.
Yep. Good. All right. We're good with the facilities and maintenance? Okay, then safety and wellness. Tracy, you wanna start? No? You're right to my left, I'm gonna catch you quick. Does someone have one they wanna?
I have, the school policy and handbook enforced. And the reason I put that down there is I'm thinking like for several reasons, like with school policies, if there's not supposed to be, I'm just saying this because people have brought this up to my head, PDA in the hallways, and you're not supposed to do that, and, or, very suggestive clothing. If it's in the school handbook and their school policies, they need to be enforced. We can't just say because of it's socially acceptable at this point. It's like, no, if it's in the handbook or if it's a school policy, there's not gonna be a gray areas. It's gonna be this. And if we help back that gives more leverage
To administration.
administration.
So having those people talk to Brett is key, because then he can find out information from them and make sure that it's taken care of. A lot of times we get secondhand information and there's nothing we can do with it because we don't know.
I know it's really hard. I've gone down this with so many community members. I keep trying to go through that whole chain of command that you requested and required. And it's like, they are afraid of repercussions. And I try to tell them there's not gonna be any, but they won't do it. They won't do it. And I don't know, how do we, then maybe that's a goal. How do we
Maybe
get
that's the
people-
goal. Yeah,
How do we get people not afraid of repercussions for their kids, that they can come forward and talk, so we don't, then you're hearing it firsthand.
Has there been a lot of repercussions in the past?
I have no idea. I'm just going by what,
Yeah, no, I'm just saying.
yeah, I don't
I
know.
guess I can't recall any, so I don't know
Well-
where their fear is at.
Well, how would you know? Yeah. How would you know?
It's like writing a letter and not signing your name. It's easy.
The only thing is though, they've come to me firsthand, so I'm hearing it firsthand. They just don't want their name out there.
Yeah.
And I said, I can't help you.
Your name doesn't go out, they just talk to a rep.
They, same thing.
Hmm.
Same thing. I'm seriously, I've mentioned it and they don't want to come forward. And I don't know how to encourage people to get past that fear.
It's gotta be frustrating for you.
It is, because it's like, I'm hearing it all the time and it's like, please,
is anybody
or
else?
I encourage them to come to board meetings and say, come to a board meeting.
I'm not, but I'm new here.
I heard stories in the past of repercussions
repercussions.
I have.
But it's only like 2 stories.
Mine was like 3-4 years ago, and I knew someone had brought me to the office or whatever that there's an issue, and then after that, there was a couple teachers that found out about it, and then all of a sudden their grades went down because they weren't doing good enough here, good enough there, and they used the grade thing almost to get back at them. But I don't know what their plan was at the school, maybe they didn't do so, but they had already, always gotten good grades, and then all of a sudden, we had a couple teachers that found out, and it was they had 2 staff, I think.
But I haven't heard anything within the last 4 years.
No, in the last couple of years, I haven't really.
It's been a long time.
When that, oftentimes, that with every situation, there's 2 sides to it.
Correct.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's why I'm not gonna say anything above and beyond that.
Yeah, it's, and I know I've dealt with things where, where a kid tells his parents that, this happened and then the school didn't do anything about it. Well, I know for a fact that the school handled it. But, so if you're just listening to that one person, it's tough. So that again, that's another reason that it's nice for us to be able to hear that. If we're not doing the right thing, if we're taking it out on a kid, we should be held accountable for that.
Yeah, that should never happen.
Yeah.
Maybe what the goal should be is promote transparency and open dialogue with the community.
Mhm.
I
And
don't.
that will go back to the top where we sit out there at some of these events. We go to teachers' conferences and sit there with at a table and say, bring us your feedback. Tell us how things are going. How's your kid doing, child doing in school, Maybe that kind of wraps right around there.
I think we really need to be supporting this post-pandemic struggle that we've got with everybody. I was just reading an article today about how administrators all across the country, they did a survey in 37 states, are reporting massive frustration with having to deal with new disciplinary issues, and it is far worse. It's funny. There's always this perception that this is whatever generation, the youngest, it's always the worst in history. Which that statistically doesn't really make sense, but that's always a perception. But I look at the discipline stuff that we had to deal with before the pandemic and then after, and it was way more drama based. It's way more, which is complete mental health. It's driven by social media. And so we need to be supporting ways to teach kids how to good skills with your phone. I've dealt with so many things, and this was before COVID too, but text message battles that would go on until 3 in the morning.
Maybe this could be, I bring this in with maybe roll into community ed. Can we do something through community ed on mental health strategies and things to help parents? Because we need to have adult classes, right?
That's interesting.
And maybe we do something with the kids too on that, and we push to get 2-3 events, and we support with the speakers or whatever we need to, or professionals to help with this. This is not, my only expertise is as a parent, not as a,
Yeah.
you know, psychologist, so.
One of the things I put for this, provide wellness opportunities on our website, mental health links, mental health resources, hotlines, apps. There's YouTube videos, there's a bunch of different, like, my school district is Brainerd that I grew up in, they have like an entire page devoted to like mental wellness for parents, mental wellness for students and teachers, it supports everybody. And it was like, download the app, watch this video, I mean, there's so many things, hotlines, everything, and I was like, that's a super great idea. And I threw stars and I couldn't find it, I didn't spend a ton of time, but even the short amount of time there, I couldn't find anything, so I was like, oh, we could probably like implement something like that on a smaller scale.
I would sure love to see our website redesigned and streamlined.
I'm with you on that. Well, we can budget for that. We'd be happy to budget for that.
Maybe that's something we put up under,
Yeah.
under our
All in favor?
I actually, that makes me warm inside.
Oh.
I don't know of anyone who likes
No,
going on there. I hate to say it.
no,
No.
and the thing is, it is 100 times better than it was 5 years ago.
Yep.
But it's, yeah, I agree, I can't find stuff, so.
I know,
It's hard. That's just fun.
But I think that's what we need to put down.
Where do you want that at?
That could be, it's not really health and wellness, but.
Achievement and opportunity.
Achievement and opportunity, yeah.
Jim, have you heard of anybody that does speaking, like even an evening speaker, just to bring in parents, like to
We
the
have
gym?
tried that. We tried that with a couple things a few years back, and they were really poorly attended. Which doesn't mean we shouldn't do them, but we would just have to figure out how we promote this maybe better in the community. And
Well, I think even the board members can push it out there and say, hey, you know, this is something for you, you need to, you know, come check it out.
Yeah, depending on the length, could it be something done at halftime of a sporting event? You know, one of the girls or boys basketball games.
Huh.
Yeah, or football. You got a little bigger crowd in a football game.
Well, you know what, there's something
But
to
you
be
gotta
said
think
about
about-
that.
Think outside the box.
Outside the box and how you
It's like
present
those
this
commercials
stuff.
during the Super Bowl, they capture your attention, maybe
Yeah.
there's some good.
well, especially if you're able to find a good speaker that can work with the kids during the day, that would be willing to stick around. None of these guys are cheap,
Correct.
you
Right,
know, $5,000 is about the minimum you're gonna get a decent speaker.
But maybe we can budget for that somehow.
But we can, and, you know, right now, we could use our ESSER funds for that. There, a lot of times, there are mental health grants out there. I know there's a lot of groups in the area, the BioLegacy, I'm sure they would be happy to fund some or part of that. What's the Lutheran,
Social services.
no, private, what are they, Lutheran Brother? Oh, private,
Thrive It.
Private.
and they'll match any grant as long as you've got an account, I believe, with them.
Yeah.
And like you said,
Yeah.
you personally have seen the change from pre-COVID till now. And if we make that known, like has escalated, this is really, really important.
If we want to improve in achievement, why is that so hard to say? If we want to improve achievement, we have to start with that.
Mhm.
We have to. We can have the highest goals, but if we're not supporting their basic needs, we're not going to get there. And I think along with the health and wellness, the staff gets absolutely worn out, and we need to figure out the best ways to support what they're doing too, because, you know, they talk about the caregiver fatigue or the caregiver stress. It's rampant around here. It's not as bad as before COVID or during COVID, but it's still there, and again, we're fighting the effects of that pandemic.
And it's really not just in the schools.
Oh, no.
It's in the workforce out there, it's all over, it's.
Yep.
gotten bad.
So is everyone okay if I work with Amy to get this document polished up.
We gotta do it.
And then I want to put it on our website under the district so that it's available out for the whole community to see what our goals are as a board. And then we'll probably officially approve it at the next meeting, at the March meeting. Does that sound like a plan?
I have one more to go on the very
Oh, yeah.
top. That has been, and I skipped over because I finally started it, so I would forget. It's been brought up to me from community members that they would like the board to see this, us board members now and in the future, balance the budget. I'm just putting that out there. I don't know how you do it. I know we have, the finance committee, but maybe they feel we can operate better if we balance the budget. I just throw that out there.
So are they, I'm gonna ask a clarifying question. Are they talking about the general fund, or are they talking about the community ed fund, or is there a specific fund they're referencing? Or
I
is
think
it
they just
everything
think
as a whole?
As a board.
everything's
Yeah.
okay?
I think some of it requires education because our budget works a lot differently than like your household budget. And I know that there's a perception that we approved a deficit spending budget for this year, but it was only that way because we had LTFM dollars that had been saved for a roofing project, which hasn't happened, but so it made it look like we were overspending, and it's hard to explain to most people why spending more than your revenues is not overspending. It's really difficult to explain that.
And then the same token along those lines is that they always say you don't ever buy a insurance policy that you don't understand. You don't sign paper there. And so if people are wanting to give money out for referendums and stuff, I think they want to I'm just throwing that out there. This is what's been brought to me, so you can do it.
I have a quick,
I'm trying to think.
when we were talking about rice fields and stuff, that one Scott Gable gave, what, 5-6 years ago?
The
in the
drugs,
gym? That was amazing.
Yeah.
And what to look for in your kids and things. Now, did any of you go to that?
No.
Oh my gosh, that was so good.
it was really, that was one of the ones I was referring to that I thought was really poorly attended.
Yeah, I was, and I was surprised because, I mean, it was like sporadic. I mean, there was probably maybe 80, 90 people, maybe?
Oh, not even that.
You don't think so? Well, it was
was
very
closer to 50.
interesting. He laid out on his, I don't know how many tables, 1, 2,
There was a lot of.
4
drugs out
tables,
there.
and a lot of things that you would not even have a clue where people put drugs. They put them in a pen, they put them in a marker. They can buy the stuff online. That was very interesting, and it would be very good for something like that, again,
Yep, we
to
could
bring
easily do
up, see if you do that again. And,
that.
put it out
They're
there.
more than willing to do that.
oh, it was very interesting.
You know what, the latest one I heard is if you go into the bathrooms, check the ceiling tiles.
Oh, that's.
They push those up.
I
I was onto something here.
No.
Yeah, we should check with him, see if he could do that again, though. I think that would be very good for parents, a lot, if we could put it out there and advertise it maybe a little bit more. And get the parents to come, and if we could do it at a time, I don't remember, I don't remember what time that was. Was it 6:30 or 7 maybe, in the evening?
Yeah, it was 6:30.
Something like that, yeah, but it was a good hour and a half long. I mean, he had a lot of good information.
Do you want to give people
Yeah,
a 2 minutes
so
break here?
we kind of double booked Leatherman in some regards to maybe hopefully start earlier as part of this, but they are on the agenda for the regular meeting. So we'll adjourn our work session, and at 6:55 here, give a 5-minute break, and then we'll commence with our regular meeting at 7.
Well,
No problems with
I know what I did.
I saw you were out like, must have came yesterday.
We gave away our CD that had the long HDMI.
Well, I mean, I have this.
Oh, okay. Where do we want to get the? We'll just keep it here. Maybe put your.
I don't know when I came in there, that first weekend in January. My flight was. So I flew off,
So I flagged
You're loving it. Nice to meet you. Thanks for coming. Absolutely. No worries.
Amy had asked me, if you think it'd be a good idea to have time on like fantastic, I love. And then, I don't know what happened at that point.
All right, so you want me to just try sit here?
You can sit here, talking to the microphone, if possible.
Is this recorded or is it?
Yeah, we've got a.
Oh, we still being recorded, actually.
I'm good.